The essence of this meeting, which will be very brief, is actually to address our contractors based on the situation of the country and the situation of the ministry and the paucity of funds facing a lot of multiple projects. First is to say that when we came on board, as at May 29, 2023, Mr. President inherited a total of 2,600 projects, totaling over 15 trillions. And at that time, those projects were ongoing, and only about 2 trillions or thereabout were satisfied and paid. And so we now had an ongoing project of over 13 trillions. Some of them were sukuk, some of them were budgetary provisions, over a number of years, some NMPC tax credit, some, private sector tax credit, PPP, EPC plus F, all these funding models total to over 2,600 and over 13 trillions. And we now made very serious inflection after the fuel subsidy was removed, and then the challenges of the Naira. And that made it mandatory that all projects ought to be looked into. What the conditions of contract allows for contractors is only VOP, to allow for VOP, which means that in the contract, if the VOP has been exhausted, you can now apply for more VOP, variation on price. But this variation on price covered only about 4 or 5 items, like the fuel, diesel, bitumen, cement. And so the ministry looked at it realistically, and we felt that there is no way you will ask a contractor, to use the same price of earthwork, as at when the job was awarded. And by the way, some of the jobs have lasted some 18 years, some 11 years. And so when you now do VOP or price review, you'll be getting sometimes 500%. And it's very embarrassing both to government, to ministry. And it's not possible for anyone to defend that. Issues are taken at face values. And so we appeal to Mr. President to do 2 things. One is that we give our envelope in 2024 budgetary provisions to keep all the inherited projects alive. President directed that that should be done. And that's why you see most of our projects are ongoing projects in the budget, but with very poor budgetary allocation. 50 million, 100 million. You have 100 million for an ongoing project that is about 100 kilometers. But we had to do that, believing that there could be, other ways that we could fund this project, including PPP. And then we also have some new projects, especially the constituency projects of the National Assembly, which constitute over 90% of our new projects. And yet, these constituency projects are also of very poor budgetary allocation, 100 million, 200 million. In 2024 budgetary allocation, we have less than 30 projects that have over 2 billion allocation. And that's why I say that it's a palliative budget. You can't really use that budget to achieve much. But the budget is also very useful in certain emergency works, because a chain is as strong as the weakest link. In the sense that if you have a beautiful road, 100 kilometers, and the road is broken into 2 by flood, if you don't fix it, you can't use it. So that's where the usefulness of the such emergency projects or low budgetary provision to certain emergency projects will come up handy. You know, in our society, we are very good at comparing. You know, the best minister, the worst minister, we are called differently. Our assignments are differently. And this ministry competes with no ministry, but we are very much committed into innovative ways of thinking and doing things differently. And for those who care to know about what we have achieved, we'll be able to say that, you know, maybe upper week when the Minister of Information Committee will be calling us. We've really achieved a lot. In this ministry, we work on Saturdays, we work on Sundays, we work almost 21 hours every day because we inherited a lot of tasks. We had 330 projects that Mr. President approved on an emergency basis, totally over 260 billion. As of today, we have completed over 80% of such projects. We have. And so if we are to ask Mr. President to come over to commission them, nothing else will be done. And I think that a cumulative project of over 260 billion is quite a milestone achievement for this ministry and for Mr. President. So I'm directing the PAM Secretary to direct all the regional directors to do the commissioning of these projects throughout the nation. They commission it, they put it in social media and put it in television so that Nigerians will see what we are doing. On new projects, we've completed some bridges. You know, like the Shandam Bridge, we have completed it. And so many other projects. And so, when we present our scorecard, the society will see the much we have done. But that's not why we are here. But very important is for the directors to, you know, after the Salah holiday, they need to go around and engage and commission all these completed projects, because it will be too much for me, you know, not to talk of Mr. President to engage in the commissioning. But from July, mega completed projects will be inviting the President every month across the 6 geopolitical zones to complete the commission. But my discussion with you here, directors, together with and also the contractors, you know, here, you know, being supported by directors, is to understand that we have a new situation. We cannot continue to do things the way we've been doing it. Whether we're doing it nicely or badly, we have to adopt a new policy to match with the situation. Mr. President had graciously approved review of our projects, and our projects unit prices were offered to the contractors, not contractors offering us. We offered to them. And we offered to you based on the approvals we had gotten on similar projects by BPP and by FEC. And so one thing that is our policy is that no contractor in Ministry of Works will be treated differently. Whether you're an indigenous contractor or you're a foreign contractor, so far you can turn cement to the right grade and place it rightly, you're a good contractor, we check it and it's good. And that is what is serving us. Because we will not have any reason to offer to National Assembly, to Mr. President, or the public, if in a particular location there are two contractors that are working and we have given them different prices for similar projects. We will not survive it. So we were appealing to you to understand our situation. there may be some of you that the situation, you know, may be so harsh if you've been used to very easy money. And so our advice is that you can, you know, wait to such a time we start cruising. Then you can come up again. But you will not force the ministry to give you the price probably you've been expecting or you have been doing. We won't be able to do that. When we came on board, we were confronted with certified certificates of 1.5 trillion, even though contractors have not been able to come to defend that. But we don't want to owe contractors. And because we don't want to owe you, we want to offer you what we can pay you based on the economic realities. And we don't want you to continue to write, and we write delay tactics. A lot of you don't have equipment and personnel on site, and you are using delay tactics to keep the people suffering. Until today, no project has ever stopped because of paucity of funds. When a project has expired, in line with clause 44 of the general conditions of contract, it's at the discretion of the client to renew or to have a new project contract signed. And so when a project expires and we are not extending it, it's our right to say the project has expired. We are also rescoping projects, and we are directing today, and I want the minutes of this meeting to be kept, that all contracts that have, apart from the legacy projects of Mr. President, 3 of them, but every contract that has dual carriageway, both of them can no longer go on at the same time. We have to take one carriageway and continue with it and conclude it. Where one carriageway is in existence, we will be maintaining that carriageway while we continue the new carriageway construction. If you are carrying the 2 carriageways together, we may not have the immediate funds to take the 2 carriageway. It's better to take one and they take it to the end so that the public will be managing that. While we now come back to continue, we are not taking the job. We come back to continue the other one based on the availability of funds. And we frown at people that leave the carriageway and concentrate on drainage. We want the carriageway for people to be using it. Then we can come back to the drainage. So the amount of drainage that we are doing, you know, must be in line with the amount of pavement you are doing. No director is going to process any certificate more than the amount of drainage that is achieved. These are some policies we are using to see how we can move our road sector forward. Variation of price. This is a killer spot, variation of price. The ministry is doing everything to see how we can do away with this variation of price. But we will not allow contractors to suffer. In the States, I was a governor. There was nothing like variation of price. Yes, prices could be reviewed. But what is very fashionable in Ministry of Works is variation of price. And that's why no project is moving. But let me announce that the asphalt we give, the earthwork we give, the concrete we give are based on 1,700 naira to $1. So it does not have, it doesn't attract any variation on price. And we have met and we've directed local contractors who may need help to come. We also have to develop our local contractors to compete. Where your projects have not been reviewed, yes, we continue with the variation of price. But we can't review the projects at the mercy of Mr. President. And immediately we give you the job, then you start writing for variation of price. We will not do that. We are appealing to you to understand our plight. We are going to be dead serious about timetable to the projects. It's quite disheartening, and I don't want to mention names. But the people of Benin Wari are suffering. The people of Lokoja to Benin are suffering. And the contractors are playing, games. Trucks are falling down. It's not as if the government is not paying. And same with so many other locations. Our agreement is that our directors will now move to these regions and stay there 3 weeks and push the contractors. We'll be very courageous to terminate contracts of contractors that we continue to play games. We've realized that many contractors do not have equipment. Some have up to 10 projects. And so they keep us with a game, because they don't have personnel, they don't have equipment. The minimum acceptable equipment to every project. And I believe with the meeting we have done that directors are going to checkmate this. If we continue the way we have been pretending in the past 4 months, we will achieve nothing for this country. It's a time to wear a different kind of, cap and help this country. The money is not there, and we are unwilling to give it to you. We have to make do with what we have. If you are so big a company and you cannot accept our condition, you can wait. Very soon, things will change. And don't be quoting laws for me to keep us down. The law is made for man. Even before somebody is condemned to death, it takes a lot of effort. But by quoting funny, misinterpreted clauses, our people are being killed on the road. I commend Julio Beja very highly. Some of you thought we are going to be quarreling. But yesterday we resolved a lot of issues, and by this week, the Abuja-Kano work will resume. I thought you would make a clap. Yes, we have resolved. Mobilization. I want you to remove your mind on advance payment, please. The Procurement Act says the client may give advance payment. The client may give advance payment. And we are willing to give advance payment to contractors who are very serious. But if we give you contract and you don't go to site and start permanent work, you are waiting for mobilization, we will terminate the contract. Because advance payment or mobilization is not part of the contract. It's at the discretion of the client. And the reason why in giving you jobs we ask for your financial capacity is to prove that you have the capacity to start. We are not saying we will not give you, but it's not your right. And so do not fail to go and do your job because advance payment was not immediately made to you. It is at the discretion of the client. And when we are giving you advance payment, you will accept the conditions that will come with advance payment, or you forget about it. We've directed for all these things to go into a bid document, so that if you are picking the big document, you will know whether you want to work or you don't want to work. We don't want you to get the contract and then we start quarreling. They should all be in the bid document. And so when we give you advance payment, if it's 30%, that 30% will not enjoy VOP or review of price. That is part of the condition. And how we recover it, it will also be our own business. In the sense that we will decide that we will not generate certificate for you until you have done job to the percentage we have mobilized you. So we decide how we recover the advance payment. Delays in projects. If our big contractors are going to be, delaying the jobs, we will reach local contractors and pieces the jobs and give it to them, and they will do it. I did it in Ebonyi State. And the roads are still standing. No one is indispensable. And we please should not behave as such. There's so many good contractors. Those who have, accepted our conditions. I saw what, I don't know the organization, whether they said our construction organization, they were demarketing me. But it can only be on pages of newspaper. They are not party to agreement. And they are shameless. People that will say they are better because of a pot of porridge. Our people are dying on the road. And you want us to give prices that government cannot pay. And you call yourself an organization because you've collected peanuts. One of our problems in this country is lack of patriotism. America will say, America, my country. And the ministry is fighting and doing everything to bring down the cost of construction and they give quality work to the society. And some people are against it. And yet, when people die on the road, you insult us. Ministry of Works or Road is not the only problem of this country. So there are other many problems of the country which the president must attend to. So he's not giving all the money to works. So the little has given to us, we'll be able to manage it within the limit of our ability. We don't know it all. Some of you have been on projects for 18 years, and we have devised a means to tackle you. Now, we are not going to accept any partial handover unless we, the employer,